Okay, my name is Ji-Hoon Jung, professor of Gwangdong Medical School, Myeongji Hospital in Convergence Medicine Department. This session is talking about connected health and future healthcare industry using information technology and social technology for a connected health community. Actually, this session composed of two different sessions. I will talk more about hospital transformation and philosophical change based on information technology and design. And Mr. Bryce Simmons will talk about more grassroots approach using mobile phones and community-based innovation. Firstly, I'd like to introduce Mr. Bryce Simmons. Bryce Simmons founded the M-Pedigree Network, and the M-Pedigree mobile phone system is already contributing to the fight against counterfeit medicines, a cause of death of an estimated 2,000 around the world daily. Please welcome Bryce Simmons.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Jeong. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be present here in Korea. This is my second time, and obviously it's always better the second time around. I'm about to discuss a subject that is, of course, dear to the heart of us all, which is health, and how IT could impact health in ways that are fascinating and sometimes rather peculiar. So I don't think I have to convince anybody here that health is a very important element of the meaning of life. And I'm sure most of you are also aware that when it comes to health, medicines are an important component of how to ensure good health. That is why it's rather surprising, and it's a subject matter not known to many people, that in many parts of the world, the medicines that are used to manage diseases and to improve health are widely counterfeited. What I mean is that what you are looking on the screen are essentially two copies of the same medicine. But the one on the right side is the good medicine. The one on the left side is a fake copy. And this is medicine made by one of the world's most reputable pharmaceutical companies. And it's medicine given to people to improve their life, people who, some of whom may be suffering from very, very severe diseases. And yet still, criminals manage to make copies of these medicines and make them so well that when you are standing in the pharmacy, so just imagine, as a young mother standing in the pharmacy in some African country, trying to buy medicine for your young child, you could be confronted with this choice, where the two versions of the medicine are virtually indistinguishable, but one of them, in this particular case, the one on the left side of the screen, could actually kill you if you take it. And this is not a hypothetical thought experiment. This is a situation that confronts millions of people across Asia and Africa every day. In fact, so serious is this problem, particularly when you look at the conditions under which they are produced. And here you are looking at a factory that was uncovered manufacturing counterfeit Viagra. But it could be any medicine to manage tuberculosis or malaria or any of the other conditions that are familiar to most of us here, diabetes, etc. And this is where some criminals make such medicines so they can sell them at a profit. And as I've mentioned already to you, people actually die as a result of this criminal practice. Some time ago, a few years in Nigeria, on the right-hand side of the screen, you are looking at a bottle of medicine which was successfully faked in a country called Nigeria and was administered to children. 100 of them died. On the left side, you are looking at a medicine which is one of the most widely prescribed anti-malarials in the world, but particularly so in Africa. So many copies of this medicine was found, fake copies, that almost all the medicines that were in the pharmacies had to be pulled out in the second largest city in Ghana. So this is a devastating problem. Imagine all the money that goes into buying medicines in poor countries of the world, and imagine all the medicines, or a good chunk of them, being counterfeited so that they either cause harm when people take them or people waste money on them. And if you're a pharmaceutical company and you manufacture these medicines, obviously you are in the business to make some profit, which you can then reinvest to make more medicines. But if 25% of your medicines that you put out in the market are being successfully copied and sold by criminals, how much money are you losing? Money that could have gone back into innovation or into other aspects of your business. The problem, and this is where it gets interesting, is that a lot of the solutions that have been proposed to this problem are actually over-engineered and over-elaborate, and they rely too much on the technology and too little on the social dynamics, and therefore they do not work. On the top right-hand corner where you are sitting, you are looking at holograms, one of the most widely available technologies for trying to solve this problem. The problem is that even if you make a hologram so complicated that it cannot be copied, the consumer, not being a specialist, cannot detect which hologram is the genuine hologram and which one is the fake hologram. So the two holograms that you are looking at, one is actually a fake hologram. If you are a consumer standing in the pharmacy, how are you supposed to tell? On the bottom hand side of the screen, on the same right hand, you are looking at the issue of radio frequency identification devices, or RFID. These are complex technologies that require a lot of infrastructure. They require scanners, they require internet, and in most parts of the world, these services are not available. And therefore, these technologies also do not work. So the point is that innovation is not necessarily about technological ingenuity or about creativity, even about skill. And the interconnectedness that faces us is such that this problem is not necessarily a problem only of the developing world. It will surprise you to know that last year, the National Tax Service of Korea, that is the Republic of Korea, estimated that over the last 5 years, the number of counterfeit medicines, like the ones I showed you, being sold right here in Korea, have increased by 23 times. So if a problem like this one emerges somewhere in the world, you will eventually find it here too. And that is why I made the point about innovation requiring more than just ingenuity. Innovation also requires collaboration among different partners, between foundations and governments, between governments and corporations, and indeed between nations. That is the true notion and the true nature of innovation as compared to invention. And when we invented the technology that I'm going to demonstrate to you, that was the principle that guided us. As far as the front end of the technology that I just showed to you is concerned, this is a very simple technology. We create a system working together with companies like Hewlett-Packard, etc. We create a system that allows the manufacturer to put a unique code on each pack of medicine and to put a scratch panel on that code. And when you buy that medicine, you can send a free SMS to a widely advertised number, and in about 5 seconds, you get a response, almost instantaneously, telling you that this is genuine medicine. That code can be used only once. It's recorded in the data center. The data center keeps track of all the masts, so you know exactly where each pack, bottle, or box of medicine can be found in the territory. What is really interesting, though, is the number of associations and collaborations that was required to bring this technology to market. We brought together the telecom industry. We work with about 22 of them across Africa and beginning now in Asia. We work with the pharmaceutical companies, with governments, with pharmacist associations, and in my view, that is the true nature of innovation. That is the only way truly innovative services can be brought into the new dimension, and that is what we mean when we say a connected world means a new reality. Thank you very much.
Now I'm talking about how to create patient-centered cancer center harmonized with the IT and design. This is some kind of story for the how to build patient-centered cancer center. So this is our building story. I want to start with the questions that the what is hospital? There are two very different views. First one is from the patient, and the other one is from the doctors. I think the patient view is something like this. They are very sick, and they want to be very carefully taken care of. And also, the hospital must be comfortable enough, so they want to lie down everything, and that is one of the things they expected when they get to the hospital. So what's the doctor's view? Okay, this is doctor's view. So when the patient comes in, and they may have some X-rays and also CTs or something like that, and they maybe in this case, wow, there is a lot of nodules. Maybe that can be something metastatic cancer. I think that is a stage 4. So how do I treat something like this? So it is based on the scientific view. So traditional hospital setting is customized to the view on the doctors. The problem is balance. The current hospital system is too skewed to the doctor's view, not on the patient view. So we decide to change these kind of things to the more comfortable and also the patient-centered design. So I think the information technology and design and construction is great tools to recreate hospital as a healing space. So we now call it the hospital as a healing space. The left-hand image is our new cancer center's anti-cancer drug treatment rooms. So it is well lighted and also have a most comfortable chairs. And the right side image is our new children ER, emergency room. So because children are very fear of the hospital, they want to change their notion to the more comfortable like a home. So we changed some designs. And this is entrance from the hospital to the children's ER. So how do you feel? It's something like a more comfortable space, right? And this is the entrance lobby of the Cancer Healing Center. And it could be changed like this. So let's see about what kind of things are happening in our new cancer center. Okay, it could be too long, so I'd like to say two things. We adopted NFC, near field communication smart card system, and also it could be used as a smartphone such as newly developed smartphones such as Galaxy S2 or Nexus S, which has NFC. Then we can use it as a smart card, and we also making smart card for the patient. And on the contrary of the other hospital giving medical professionals to the with the iPad, something like tablet PCs, we give them to the patient, and because they need to wait and see something, and they can connect with the personalized healthcare record in their home system, and it is all connected. So lastly, I focused on the principles for cancer healing center. We think now every concept should be changed. Our first concept is integrated care. Every department is now separated, but it should be collaborated of multidisciplinary professionals, such as internal medicine and general surgery and everything. And the other one, second principle is comprehensive care. From the start of diagnosis, the care should be given to whole life cycle of the disease for the patient. It is very important. But currently, most of the cancer centers is focused on integrated care, but not for the end of life or back to the normal life or rehabilitation and something like that. And the last one and most important one is, I think, the holistic approaches. Not only science, but also the trust, empathy, light, sound, and environment will affect the patient healing. So I think the information technologies and mobile technologies, and also design, construction, and collaboration of multidisciplinary professionals, all together, we should use that as a tools to make our hospital to the healing space. I think we need to transform traditional hospital concept to the new and future eras healing space concept. That's my talk. Thank you. Okay, now this is a discussion session. I think that we will start to one question each other, and also I will give some chance to the audience next time. Start with me. Okay. I think your project, I think that shouldn't it be the duty of a government? And because government need to protect the citizens from the fake medicines. But why do consumers have to be concerned like this?
Well, it is true, Dr. John, that the primary responsibility of every government is to protect its citizens. And that as citizens, we do expect it to be the government's role to protect us. The difficulty in this particular instance is that the problem is not easily detectable. So you have a situation where in some countries, let's give you a country like Kenya, which has more than 15,000 pharmacies. And the government agency responsible for protecting consumers was not originally designed to be a police force. Mm-hmm. Their job is to evaluate the medicine, and if the medicine is good, to approve it for sale. So they have 40 inspectors. How can 40 inspectors manage to police 15,000 pharmacies and test every single medicine that is on the shelf to determine if it is a genuine product? Mm-hmm. Let me tell you a story which is very interesting. I was mentioning holograms as one of the technologies that don't work. We have seen products which are counterfeit products that have holograms on them when the original product has no hologram. So the idea is to create a sense of false confidence in the consumer. So it's a situation of deception. And in that kind of scenario, the government is not even able to detect the problem. Here is where consumers can be very effective in extending the capacity of the government to be able to do what originally should do. So when consumers send in the SMS, every time there's a detection, it's all aggregated into the central data center system that I mentioned to you. And the government gets this data and knows precisely where in the market it should focus its attention.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's my turn now. And Dr. John, so you are an innovator, and clearly you have ideas about changing the way we practice medicine in Korea and beyond. But you're also, so beyond that, you're also an academic expert in the area of IT and health. So my point is that clearly you are not an outsider. You are very much an insider to the medical profession, which has a very hierarchical and authoritarian structure. How do you go about introducing new ideas in such an established discipline when you yourself are one of the leading experts in that area and therefore an insider?
Okay, this is a very good question. Actually, one of the big problem that if we want to make some innovation in the established hierarchy, it is always a problem. So I think the most important thing is governance. I mean, because one of the top management should agree with this kind of approach. So I think that we can do that because our ownership and also management all agree with our principles together, and that was one thing. But there are another problem because even though management and top management agree with my vision, because whole other structures, whole other the people can resist. So overcoming the kind of resistance is very important. So we now having a lot of the sessions, making some kind of consensus between the whole employees together, and also I think that it takes time. Firstly, we start from some kind of training sessions, but nowadays we have regular meetings and with some of the department together. And the other point is start from small things. I mean, command and conquer for the speech by department or center. If we try to innovate the whole hospital, I think it will not, it will not be possible. But we start from small new department or new centers, such as we start from innovate from neurovascular center, and then next one was the closed psychiatry ward, and next one was the children's emergency ER department, and this time is cancer center. So when we start making new facility or new department, it is much easier to make something, new concept or innovation to be implemented. That's our tips to make some innovation in the very big organization.
So it's progressive and evolutionary.
Right. Yeah, right. Okay, so maybe we have one more questions each other, but I think we had to better get some questions from the floor, right now. Yeah. 질문, 예.
저 병원을 이용하는 사람이나 약품을 구매하는 그 소비자 입장에서 말씀을 드리면요, 일단 병원이 IT나 디자인 이런 걸로 해서 그렇게 환경이 쾌적해지면 좋습니다. 환자들은 좋은데 이제 문제는 병원을 관리하시는 병원 경영자 입장에서 보면은 그게 아주 많은 코스트를 발생시킬 것 같거든요. 그럼 그 코스트 문제를 병원 경영상에서 어떻게 해결할 건지, 일반 우리가 이용하는 사람 입장에서는 자칫 그런 것들이 가행 진료로 연결이 돼서 우리 환자들이 추가적인 비용, 안 내도 되는 비용을 가다하게 지불해야 되는 거 아닌가 하는 그런 의구심이 들 수 있거든요. 그러니까 거기에 대해서 좀 답변을 해주시고요. 예. 그다음에 M 페디그리 사장님께서는 그런 지금 M 페디그리는 그 수익이 그러니까 결국 그런 사업을 통해서 그런 비즈니스를 통해서 수익을 벌어 들일 텐데 그 돈을 그 코스트를 그 비용을 누가 내는 겁니까? 페이를 누가 하는 거죠? 그게 일반 소비자가 해야 되는 겁니까? 정부가 해야 되는 겁니까?
Okay, so I think one question is for me and one question for you. If we want to make some innovation, there is always some cost in the expense. But I think our hospital and also the other hospital all have some kind of limited budget. So our approach is not increase the budget, but we start from making changing some priority. For example, for the iPad, something like a tablet PCs, we give it to the patient first, not to the doctors. So our doctors don't have any tablets. So the budget is same now, but we start from patient first. But maybe if we have some more budget next year, then I think that we can adopt new concepts, new technologies or something like that from for the doctors after that. So our approach is not to increase the budget, but to making changes of the priority. Then I think that we can improve the more consumer-centric hospital. That's my answer.
I think the answer I'm going to give is relevant not only to the M-pedigree question, but also to the question that Dr. John just answered. One of the challenges when it comes to introducing innovation and the cost dynamics that is involved is that people forget what in accounting is called the double accounting phenomenon, which is people forget what the existing situation costs and what the current inefficiencies are costing the system. So you have to take that into account and realize that if new innovations can bring down the inefficiencies, then the existing cost will go down, and therefore to justify the increased expenditure. In the case of M-Pedigree, yes, we have a non-profit arm, but the majority of the work is done through the for-profit arm. What we do is we provide a free service to the consumer. They don't even pay for the SMS, which in Africa can be quite expensive. Who pays for the service? The pharmaceutical company. The reason why the pharmaceutical company will pay for the service and not pass it on to the consumer is what I've just described. What is the cost of the current inefficiency to the pharmaceutical industry? One, assume that it is true, and almost 20% of their medicines are being copied and sold. This is money that is going into the pockets of criminals rather than to them. If through this technology we can reduce that particular problem by 50%, that is money that comes to the pharmaceutical company. Two, if somebody takes the particular drug and they die because it's been counterfeited, how are you to distinguish between the fake product and the genuine product? For as far as the consumer is concerned, they took a genuine product. If they decide to sue your company, how much will that be worth to you? What that is called is the deterrence factor. It's also called insurance. And the reason why we will not pass it on to the consumer is that you recognize the cost of the existing inefficiency. Number three, currently, pharmaceutical companies have absolutely no means to determine how much of their products are being sold, where, what time, who are my new unique customers, who are my existing loyal customers. They have absolutely no data of that nature. This is the only system that provides them that data in real time. They get to know where their medicines are, who is using them, what part of the city, what part of the country in real time. So if previously they were spending money on research to discover this information or to acquire this data, they now receive it as a consequence of adopting this particular system. If you add all those particular cost savings and additional efficiency gains together, the consequence is that they can decide to absorb the cost of this technology and not pass it on to the consumer, which is what we've currently seen in the market.
Okay. 다른 질문 있어요? Second question. Okay, then I prepare going to the second question from me. Isn't counterfeiting really a problem for the multinational pharmaceutical company? Because they have a very big power. And is this really about catering to the grassroots interest?
Well, I get asked this question a lot. I mean, people always assume that this is some kind of solution that works for giant multinational pharmaceutical companies, and allow them to make more profit and has very little relevance to consumer safety. It will interest all of you to know that all our current pharmaceutical partners are generic producers. They are local producers of medicines in African countries who are facing this counterfeit threat through imported counterfeit medicines. So that immediately dispels the notion that this is about big pharmaceutical companies and their profits. Number two, the fact is also that a lot of the consumers who buy medicines are not really that bothered where they get the medicine from. What they are interested in is that the medicine is of good quality and that it does the job that it's supposed to do. And in this particular instance, we provide a free service so that even if you don't have a phone, and don't forget, in Africa, 50% of people now have phones. But even if you don't have a phone, because it's a free service, you can easily use the phone of a bystander or the pharmacist. And that is clearly what makes it a grassroots-driven and a grassroots-oriented service. Now, Dr. Jeon, as I mentioned earlier, you have become extremely well noted in Korea for advocating this notion of holistic health. And that question that comes to mind, seeing that your own principle is that you cannot isolate healthcare and put it in a hospital.
Okay.
Healthcare is about everything.
You're right.
Now, you are advocating for innovations at the hospital. How do we sync what you are trying to do in the hospital with what happens in the community?
Okay, so because of time's running up, I think I can wrapping up with some answers. I think that's a very good point. That's why we adopt for the very fancy RFID system. Then we chose the NFC because it is standard. Maybe we think that it should be connected with the community afterward. So we are planning to connect with the local government to make some kind of public health activity after that, and also we will connect to the other hospitals and also public health management centers to improve our public health. So that's the next mission of the things. I think that we can all connect it and we can improve. Start from hospital and community and country and global level.
So it's progressive.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.